All right, everyone, let's do a quick sound check here. Gary, Larry, Martha, Ingrid. All right, everybody. Just a quick sound check when you get a chance. We're using the Adobe Connect platform. We're using the Zoom meeting as well on the other platform, so everyone should be able to see my chart as well as hear me loud and clear. If you have any problem, whether the Zoom traders or the traders on Adobe Connect, just let us know or just send us an email. All right, sounds good. Yeah, couple good long trades today. Absolutely. Yeah, so the Sonic system is using the price action, and these green arrows here are the profit targets, and these are the stops. I'm going to cover the back end of the software. I know a lot of you have questions on the back end of the software. The room is capped to about 100 on the Zoom. Looks like we're almost there. And for the Discord or for the Adobe Connect, thank you guys. So this is on the left-hand side, the MNQ. We're looking at the Sonic system, and I'm happy to answer your questions today. We'll just give it a good 5 minutes before allow everybody to join in the room. If you have any issues in one room, let us know, and we'll transfer you over to the other room. All right, I'm going to let this run here for a little bit, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, everyone. While I wait for everyone to enter into the Zoom, the Discord, and the Adobe Connect room, just a quick update here on the Sonic system. What you're seeing here is the Sonic system using the MNQ, which is the micro NASDAQ, and on the left-hand side, it's the E-mini S&P. Now, the reason why I have here these two contracts up is because some traders are trading the Sonic with the NASDAQ, and others are trading the Sonic with the E-mini S&P. So I want to give you the understanding that you can trade different markets with either, just like some traders are using the roadmap and the Atlas line and the trade scalper. The same idea is true with the Sonic. You can trade it on any market, every single market, but almost every single market that we usually trade, except for rice, let's say, or something obscure. Some agricultural markets I wouldn't trade it on. It doesn't move as much. We need a little bit of volatility with this. And so you can trade it with different markets. I'll show you the back end of the software. My name is John Paul. I'm founder of Day Trade to Win. There are 3 rooms here that we're looking at. We have a Zoom, we have a Discord, and we have the Adobe Connect. So whichever one anyone is linked up to attend the webinar, I'll be able to answer your questions separately. All right, Ingrid, thank you. Colin, Joe, Martin, Ness, William. All right, Mike. So to begin here, again, we're looking at the Sonic system. Some of you may be in mentorship, which you have all the software. Some of you may just have the Sonic. Some of you may have other methods, for example, the Autopilot. And so this webinar is going to focus on a few different things. We're going to look at primarily the Sonic system, answer your questions. I've gotten a lot of questions here on the Sonic. I want to make sure that everyone understands how it works, what we're looking at, how to approach it, and really give you an understanding if this is the right method, the right system for you. All right, before I begin, I want to make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear in all the 3 rooms, the Discord, the Zoom, and the Adobe. All right, Joe, thank you. All right, Chris. So the first thing we're going to do is we're looking at, and the reason why I have this is I've gotten a lot of email about trading different markets using the Sonic. So I decided to put up 2 different charts here. The left-hand side is the E-mini S&P. On the right-hand side is the MNQ. For those of you who don't know me, I'm John Paul, the founder of Day Trade to Win. I create this software. We teach the classes. We have a live trading room. Some of you are members, full-fledged members with mentorship. Others may be just free members, which is fine. So free members, if you don't already have the news indicator, there's an option there to download the ABC method as well as the news indicator for free. It's a trial. You get to see it and try it and get a little bit to learn on how we trade price action. So for those of you who don't already have it, it's available for NinjaTrader. TradingView also is a big charting platform and popular, so we have the ABC indicator available as well for TradingView. So the Sonic system is available for NinjaTrader as well as TradingView. We have about, I would say right now, a good 100 users outside of beta using the Sonic system. The feedback has been very strong, especially because we include a live trading room where we show the Sonic and we have the classes as well. So I think we're on a good start with the Sonic system. The signals themselves, as you see them here, this is the NASDAQ and this is the E-mini S&P, are based on price action. Everything that we teach at Day Trade to Win is always focused on price action. We stay away from the counter channels or the MACDs and the bands. Momentum, I think that at some point you can look at them and say, hey, there's a lot of value to them. The problem is that we're constantly updating settings. And so I'm trying to avoid using and constantly updating and optimizing different settings because the markets change. Price action should be utilized regardless if the market is changing. The targets are based on current conditions. The entries should be based on patterns or price action or breakouts or strength or pullbacks, something that always occurs in every single situation. So we're really trying to stay away from optimizing any type of indicator. The signal itself here, either this one or this one, occurs. Let me just expand this out here so you can see this a little bit better, like this. It occurs after this box, this shaded box right over here. Okay, so just like this one here, or this one here, or this one here, or this one here, it occurs after the shaded box. Now the goal when entering into any trade really is not to jump into it and rush into it. So what we teach is not to just click market and jump in. You take a step back and you ask yourself, where is the target? The Sonic system is giving me this target here, and the Sonic system is giving me the stop here. And based on that, what is my goal in taking this trade? How much money do I want to make? Is the stop too large? Therefore, am I really concerned? Am I going to be hurt, let's say, if the trade goes against me? Is it too much for me to handle? So we know in advance the targets and we know in advance the stops. So we have everything laid out for us. The one thing that I do tell everyone is, even though we have a signal and we're using limit orders, always try to enter at a better price. Now, the videos that I've put out recently, the videos on the E-mini S&P, the entries, you always hear me talk about, there's probably now on the Sonic system a good maybe 20 videos at least, not including the training videos that we have. But you can see that this here, this entry, you could have waited just a minute to get a better price. And that way, now, if the market fails, it's a smaller loss, and if it makes the target, it's a larger winner. So my goal in teaching you how to trade is not just follow the signals and be, like sheep. I want you to think for yourselves and say, even though there's a signal, and even though it's almost making the target here, I don't know if it's going to hit it, but if it makes the target, which I think it just touched it, there's another aspect to it. And the other aspect would be look at the risk in comparison to the target, and if you can, get a better price. So I think that's really important. Maria, any questions? Ingrid, Adam, Dan, Samuel, Mohammed, Annie, Chuck, Colin, Guest, I guess you could say. Your name is Guest, Joe, John, Martin, Michael, all the people in the other rooms as well. Does not include, Joe says, does this price action analysis include order flow? It does not include order flow. There's nothing to do with order flow. The signals are based on price action, not order flow or any special level 2 data, let's say. You don't need that. Okay, so here is the latest signal on the NASDAQ or the mini NASDAQ, and I recommend everyone start with the minis or the micros, especially practice first. The same thing is true here on the E-mini S&P. Let me just make that a little bit bigger. Here is the E-mini S&P. This is the latest signals here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 signals. It's not always going to be that way. I always have to stress the importance of knowing the risks involved with trading. You're seeing some awesome trades here, without a doubt, right? You can definitely make money in it, but there are going to be a losing trade or there will be losing trades. It's inevitable. There's nothing we can do about that. What you can control, though, is the amount of risk. So remember when I said to you in the previous example with the Nasdaq, where you see a signal and you realize that there's a risk and there's a target. Wait a minute. Try to get in at a better price. So you're actually, and there's a tool here on NinjaTrader. I think every charting platform has it, where you can actually say what is the 50-50, or if I wanted to make it 60-40 or 70-30, where would that be in relationship to where I enter? And you can actually do this. It just took me a second to do, and I know that the price that I should be entering at for the maximum opportunity for risk to reward would be here. Well, maximum may be an overstatement, but the ideal situation to be in, because if it loses, I know what exactly I'm in for, and that's important to know. Yes, Ingrid, so when you look at the signal, even though the signal appears, you don't enter with market orders. Try to use limit orders or try to get a better price, just like I mentioned earlier. Ingrid, how long do you wait for a trade? So this trade took about 10 minutes, maybe, a little bit more, maybe 12 minutes. I think that if you're in a trade for 10 to 15 minutes, it's time to look at exiting the trade. I don't want to hold on to a trade unnecessarily for an over amount of time. I think that it's unnecessary. So I much rather get out of a winning trade with something, whether it be a +1 or +10 ticks, whatever the case may be, if after 15 minutes we're still in the trade, it's time to get out, right? We're day traders. We're not looking for an hour into this. That's right. That's correct. So this would be a winning trade here. This one here, if anyone is taking this trade long, right here, you can see that there's more than enough time for this to hit the target. I'm going to go over the back end of the software in just a minute. If you're still in this trade, consider exiting at break even. Small win, small loss. It's called a time-based stop. I mention this all the time. A time-based stop is based on how long you hold on to a trade. And most of the methods that we have, we always focus on exit strategy, trade management. Time-based stop is part of that. Howard says here, what tool in Ninja did you use to calculate the 50% level? So what I'm using is called a Fibonacci. I believe it's retracement. Let me just show you what that is. And actually I changed that, Howard. So when I come here to, it's F8. So I use the shortcuts. I'm very familiar with NinjaTrader. I use the shortcut. It's called Fibonacci retracements. And when you first add this tool, it doesn't look like this. I don't personally use any type of Fibonacci levels. So what I did was I updated this tool in order to allow me to only see the 0, the 50, and the 100. So I come here to this section here in the properties of the actual drawing tool, and I come here to price levels, and you can see that I unchecked the Fibonacci quote-unquote levels that are defaulted, and I just checked the 50, I unchecked the 76, I checked the 100, and I checked the 0. So I'm only looking at 0, 50, and 100. And you can change the colors, and you can do a lot of cool things with it, and that's all I did. Now, the most important part of that, Howard, is clicking on template and clicking on save. And you can call it something else. You can name it something else if you'd like. I just did the default setting. That's what I did. And that way, whenever I click F8 and whenever I do the F8 key, it's always remembering my most recent saved settings. All right, we have a signal here to go long. Everybody see that? I heard an audio alert. The signals have audible alert. So first thing I notice is the target and the stop. Where I'm entering, even if you want to do this 50% marker here, you can see that I can even enter at a better price. So entering long at a better price, let's say even right here, it's a fantastic trade. I'm not using any filter. For example, a lot of traders are using the roadmap or the Atlas line or the scalper, trade scalper, to filter out these trades. I'm not. For the Sonic system in this presentation, I'm just showing you the signals themselves. It's a long signal. Anyone have any questions? It has to be black and white as a trader. We know what the target is. We know what the stop is. All right, sounds good. All right, long. All right, Maria, Adam, David, Dan, Mohammed. Okay, very good. Howard, let me know if you have any questions on what I just explained to you on how to do that 50% retracement if you wanted to use that in your trades. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so we don't have a signal on the E-mini S&P, and the reason why we don't have a signal on the E-mini S&P because this target and this stop has not yet been hit. So it still thinks you're in a trade, and that's fine. That's the way it's supposed to work. So the reason why we have a signal on the NASDAQ is because it was waiting for a new signal. In this case, it still thinks that there's a target and a stop to be hit or to be met. So if you're asking why isn't the E-mini S&P giving a signal in relationship to the NASDAQ, it's for that reason. It has to finish this current trade first. Okay, sounds good, Howard. Okay, so now that the E-mini S&P hit the target here, now it'll look for a new trade. That's how it works, just to show you. All right, good. You got some money out of that? Sounds good. Adam, fantastic. And the E-mini, okay. So we have a couple of traders that are actually trading along and following the signals, which is good. It's good, but be careful. Obviously, I don't want anyone to lose money. So please, when you join Day Trade to Win, the first and foremost is to join and attend these training classes that we have before risking live money, because we want to make sure that you're completely ready before risking any money, and understand and ask your questions. And so we've been doing this for a long time. We have a lot of members as well, longtime members. The lifetime software that we offer is just that, lifetime. So we have traders who, let's say, have the Trade Scalper maybe 10 years, and I still see the emails come through for updating. They want updates, and they have a new computer, so we update their machine ID. So it happens all the time, and that's what lifetime software is all about. That's what we offer. So if you're still in this trade, guys, wherever you entered, just realize that the trade hit the target and you should be out. I just want to reference that. Okay? Yeah, Joe, we absolutely can send you the replay. It'll be on our blog. Usually it takes a couple hours, maybe a day, but it'll be available to you. You can review it and then email me any questions that you have. For this trade here, just to confirm, I want to make this clear. Since it has already hit the target, we have to consider this trade finished and over with. All right? Anyone have any questions on what you just saw? Anyone have any questions in general? All right, Discord room, everybody okay? Zoom room. All right, thank you, Adam, Mohammed, Ingrid. All right, John, Joe here has a question. The Joe says here, can this program or the Autopilot be programmed with other signals or parameters? The Autopilot trades automatically for you. It's a complete system that buys and sells for you. The Sonic system does not. The Sonic system gives you the signals as you see them. You enter manually, and then after you enter manually, the targets and the stops can be placed for you semi-automatic. Now, I use the ATM strategy to automate the targets and the stops. So once you enter into the market, you can have the exact target and stop. You can adjust it as you wish. I'm going to go over the back end here of the software as well. So let me show you here what it looks like. And that way you can see exactly how this is set up in the back. Okay. William says you're not getting the same signal as your chart. Must be the feed. Are you looking at what market are you looking at, William? And you can send me a screenshot just to make sure that we're looking at the same in your settings. Look at my settings here in the back. And this happens to be the settings for the MNQ, and just compare them. All right. So there's a new signal here that just popped up. I heard the alert. We have a sound alert here to shooting sound. You can actually change any sound that you want. It has to be a WAV file. And so I heard a shooting sound in my headset. And the audible alert is also available in TradingView users as well. And also, William, I'm not sure if you're using NinjaTrader or TradingView. And so the idea here is, let me just put this down here, is to have a target based on the current market conditions. And that's why we have this ATR period of 4, because everything that we teach, we say, whether it be the Trade Scalper or the Atlas line or the At the Open or the Blueprint, regardless, we always say, look at the current conditions. The stronger, the more volatile the market, the the larger the target and the larger the distance the market moves. When the market's slow, it's usually chopping, smaller targets, smaller stops. I think that the problem that a lot of traders have is that they try to use the same target and stop and idea for every single trade that they take. You have to have this correlation of whether or not the market is able to do what you want it to do in every situation. So when the market is slow, it doesn't move and the targets should be smaller, or it takes a very long time for it to go anywhere. When the market's strong and volatile, it's much faster. You make a much quicker target or stop in a quicker amount of time. So you have to adjust and understand that the conditions need to be adaptable. You have to adapt to the market conditions. And so we do that by the average true range. A setting of 4 basically says the last 4 completed candles. Okay, we have a long here on the E-mini S&P. That's a long on the E-mini S&P. And so the last 4 candles tell me on average what I can expect moving forward. So we're using that for the target. We're also looking at the profit being either smaller or larger based on the ATR. Now, typically 1 or 0.75 or even half the ATR is a good starting point. So you see here that I have here 3/4% or 75% of the ATR. If I change this to 2, the targets are much larger, and it's going to take, I'm going to click apply here, it's going to take much more distance for it to make the target. So when I'm just going to click apply here so you can see that it's going to recalculate, and you see that the targets are larger. Okay, and let me just click OK, like this. You see, so the entry to go long has a much larger target because it's 2 times the ATR, not just 1 or 75% of the ATR. I recommend everyone start off with 1 times the ATR and then adjust. I would always be conservative, 75% or half the ATR. So the same thing if I came here and I did a 0.5, you're going to get more signals, smaller targets and smaller trades, but more trades, many more trades, because it just keeps on, hits the target, new trade, hits the stop or target, new trade. And so when I click apply, you're going to see that there's a lot more signals because it recalculates after the completion of every trade. You see there's a difference there. So I had it set to 0.75, which I think is a reasonable way to approach this. 75% of the ATR allows me to get in a trade, make a certain amount of money for a profit, and then get out and look for the next trade. And so you don't need a lot of these trades. I always say you don't need an overabundance of signals when trading. I think quality is more important, for sure. Quality of a signal of a trade is better. Okay. There's some questions here. Yes, you do have to answer, or you have to look for news events. I don't recommend trading during news events, Adam. If you have a signal that appears right as a news event is about to approach, or if you're filtering it with the roadmap, I know you have the roadmap software, definitely filter out the trades. We're looking really to make sure that there's nothing conflicting. So if this is a roadmap and it's telling you to go short and the Sonic is telling you to go long, we really don't know which one's going to be correct. Give it a minute, wait until it realizes what it wants to do, or stay out completely. That's for Adam. Let me take a look here. Joe says, so what I meant before with the Autopilot, can I use the parameters of other trading systems like the Sonic or Trade Scalper so that the Auto Trader places the trades and exits the trade Scalper or Sonic? So, Joe, the Autopilot is its own trading system. The Autopilot has its own configurations, its own settings and things. It doesn't link, or it's not connected to, and it doesn't use any calculations based on the Sonic or the Trade Scalper. It's its own entity. So the Autopilot's its own trading system. So I want to make sure that you're okay with that first and foremost. So the parameters, the settings, the trailing stops, everything from the Autopilot is unique to the Autopilot. The Sonic is a completely different system from that. Okay, William. So you had 2 times the ATR, and that's why the signals were a little bit different. Is that correct, William? And that would make sense because it would have to wait for the actual trade based on your settings to complete or finish before a new trade appeared. So I would have more signals using 3/4 of the ATR, right? 75% would say, okay, entry, the trade hit the target, finished, new trade, and so on and so on. Okay. Howard says here, do you have to change any other settings for other indices? Yes, that's actually a good question, Howard. So when you look at the financials, the E-mini and the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, and I'm going to go back to the original, the settings here so you could see. You don't have a lot of settings, Howard. So the first thing is when you take a look here at the back end of the software, there's not a lot of settings. There's actually just 3 main settings that we're going to focus on. And they're all, and I don't want you to optimize this in any way where, you know, it doesn't work that way at all. So the first thing I want to focus on is the target. The target should always be the same. 1 times the ATR, half the ATR, maybe 1 1/4 times the ATR. So this is, regardless of the market you're looking at, this is really a constant, right? We're always looking at kind of, the target is based on whatever the market's doing. So that's first and foremost. The second thing is the stop loss ticks below or above. So that's based on the box. So I don't think that we have to change either of these settings for the most part. The 5 ticks is 5 ticks below this box, or 5 ticks below this box, or 5 ticks below this box. That's how that works. If I wanted a larger stop, which I don't recommend, but if let's say I wanted a larger stop, I can do that. I'll click apply, and you could see that it's going to update here on the left hand side. You see this is now 10 ticks. I think that's too large. It's unnecessary. 5 ticks is enough of a breathing room that it'll allow the trade to breathe as it fluctuates up and down. So I don't really think you need to touch that. Actually, a lot of traders use 3 ticks or 4 ticks. They don't even go as much as I do, 5 ticks. So these 2 settings here are pretty basic. It's based on the market. Do we want 1 times the ATR or more or less? How many ticks above or below the box? I don't really change this for any of the markets. They're all the same. The one filter that we can change here that does make a difference, especially if you're trading in energy like the crude oil, I've noticed that using a 20 as an average instead of a 65 works better. So if you're looking at the energy sector, natural gas, crude oil, heating oil, these settings here will stay the same, except you may want to adjust the filter. Now the filter is this dashed or hashed line that says any trade above or below needs to be long or short. So the reason why we're only seeing long trades here, all the trades are being calculated to be long above this this average here that you see, which is using 65. If I change this to 20, again, it's the same thing, but it would only show long or short trades based on being above or below. And I'm not sure if that we're going to see that. See, we're still above, so any trade that we take will be long and it's filtered out. Any short based on the calculation will not show, will only show long trades. And let me see if I can show you a short. So you see how this one here is below this 20 average, and so you see that it's a short trade. Like that. So you see that we're really tightening it up. I think that 65 works better in the currencies, in the financials, I should say, and the currencies too. I like 65 or 20. So that's really the only setting that I recommend. Howard, I think it was Howard, that that you change when it comes to other markets. And I don't want to do every single calculation. It's either 20 that I found works well or 65. You can definitely experiment as you feel, but it's really just an extra layer of protection to filter out direction. That's all it is. Okay. I think that was for Howard. Let me know if that answered your question there, Howard. And let me go back to this here. The settings are the filter, 65 or 20 or whatever you feel, but I like 65 or 20. That's what we teach. The stop loss is how many ticks above or below this box. the target based on ATR like 1 or 3/4. Now you can also change the alert font size and the way that this looks. So I have it set to 25. You can make it as large or small as you wish. This is more for people who have white charts or black charts. You can change the colors of the stops, the profit targets. So these are more visuals that allows you to change. The same thing is true on TradingView. TradingView has the same settings that you see here. The line width. Now this is when to stop and start the system. This allows you to say, I want to see the system 24 hours a day, or I want to see the system only during certain hours. Again, I have to really focus on the fact that I don't want you to trade this 24 hours a day. It's not the kind of life that I wish on anybody, to sit in front of the screen. Now that being said, 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe 4 hours a day, picking and choosing maybe up to 10 trades, perfect. That's fine. Don't overdo it. Keep it simple. Right? You've heard the term, keep it simple. I want to keep it simple. And so I have this set now to start at 1 o'clock in the morning and then go to about midnight, because I'm going to show you the signals and I don't want to have any interruptions. That's why I have this set. Everything else I'll leave defaulted. I don't see any other settings that needs to be optimized. It's the take profit, the stop, and the filter. And that's it. Okay? That's it. Okay, so this last trade here to go long. Adam, you took that one too? Yeah, you're on fire, Adam. Just be careful. If you've taken already 2 or 3 trades this morning, Adam, and you're up for the day, I recommend that you kind of stop or take a break. $250, that's pretty good. Okay, $250. All right, that sounds good. Okay, this trade is finished, guys. So this was a long trade. You saw it live. We could have gotten a better price. Remember, I always say, don't jump in. Let it retrace if needed, right? Or at least take the exact price, limit order, hit the target. This, for example, 3 points. I'm going to just change that so you can see a dollar amount. When it comes to dollar amount, I think it's currency. Take a look here. Is it currency? No, it is. Oh, yes, it is currency. Okay. So it's about $150 here. Just put it over here. It's about $150, $125 on this trade here. And that's just taking the exact signal, not even going the extra step that I recommend, which is waiting for a retracement and just making sure that the risk to reward is somewhat reasonable. Okay, John, I'm not sure if you have the Sonic, but you have the options there for to make the colors and everything larger, thicker if needed. Okay, John? But if you do, let me know, or if you try to get it, or if you decide to purchase it, just let me know. Email me. Email us. Okay, another long trade, guys, on the E-mini as well as the NASDAQ. Right there. So in this trade, you can see that here. I'm going to make this a little bit larger so you could see. In this trade here, you can see that it's a pretty much equal 50-50. I know the loss. I know the target. So in my opinion, this would be okay to take. We're not overly risking or trying to kill ourselves on a trade. And so I know what the loss is if it doesn't work out. I know what the target is. The same thing is true with the E-mini. The E-mini, maybe you can get a couple ticks better. I'm always all for that, right? Anyone have any questions? Maria, any questions? Ingrid? Dave? Sorry, guys, I don't mean to ignore you guys in the other rooms. Dan? Adam, Maria, Tom, Michael? Mohammed? Let me see here. Yes, we have, John, as a matter of fact, we have a lot of people that are in prop firms. The problem with prop firms is that they don't want fully automated systems. They don't allow it. At least the rules that I've noticed recently is they shy away from it. And so the Sonic system is fine because it's not fully automated. Okay, the Sonic system is you enter manually and then you can semi-automate it with the targets and the stops, especially if you're using NinjaTrader. So you don't need to to worry about that. So yes, we have a lot of people with the roadmap, the Sonic on prop firms, and they're in the room too. They're in our trading room, so you can ask, talk to them. You guys can bounce ideas off each other in the trading rooms. They'll definitely tell you what they're doing, what works and what doesn't, or who they're with. Walter says here, good morning, new here. Is there a reason your chart, the micro for the NQ and the E-mini for, yeah, so Walter has a really good question here. He wants to know why I'm using the mini or the micro on the NASDAQ and the E-mini. The NASDAQ is a very fast moving market, Walter. Most of the clients that we have, when they try to trade the NASDAQ, because it moves so fast, it's scary. Okay, it becomes a situation where it can easily run away from you. All right, and so I know that I work with our traders all the time, and so the option to start and slowly get into trading the NASDAQ is to start off with the micro. So the reason why I'm showing you the micro is for that reason. Now I can absolutely change this to trading the NQ here, and we can see what that looks like. But it's only for the purpose of most of our members, starting off especially. I want them to be cautious. On the cautionary side, don't bet the farm on day one. Start off small, practice. Micro on the NASDAQ is a great way to do that. The E-mini, on the other hand, isn't as fast or strong. It doesn't, cut your head off if it starts moving in one direction or another. So, Walter, this is the NASDAQ, as you see it here. If you're comfortable with the NASDAQ, if you are okay with the volatility, great. Trade the NASDAQ. If you want to trade the E-mini, here's the E-mini. Give it a second to update. Here's the E-mini. If you want to trade the micro E-mini S&P, by all means. So you can have as many of these charts up. You can have tabs as well down here. Whether you like tabs or charts, those are the reasons for that. Right, so the micro, and I guess it's the same idea here why I had the micro up. The micro won't, scare you if it starts to go in one direction or another. That's the reason for that. All right, Dave, thank you. Oh, I have two Daves, Dave. Okay, Dave, thanks. There's a couple other Daves here in these other rooms. Howard, okay, you got it. Just send me your TradingView username as well, okay? Someone here will take care of that. Want to learn more? Visit daytradetowin.com and get started with a free member account, which includes access to our trials, including the ABC software. Start learning the right way by using price action and avoid using conventional indicators. We offer unique strategies and proprietary software, including the Sonic system. Join Accelerated Mentorship and get instant access to all our software. Let's get you set up in the next training.